I guess Donald Trump could say, well, Mexico will reimburse us down the road. Do you see that as a flip-flop?
Anderson, when talking about flip-flops and Donald Trump, it's difficult because he campaigned in a fact-free universe. He told so many lies, bald-faced lies, that if he were going to revert and start telling the truth, that would itself be a flip-flop. So it's hard to get your hands around all of this. Donald Trump manipulates the truth. Donald Trump manipulates his audiences. He will probably find a way of wiggling out of this. He said that he was going to jail Hillary Clinton. He said an awful lot of things. But obviously, he's not going to do much of what he said he was going to do, particularly things that seemed at the time and are even now obviously nonsensical. My real concern, Anderson, is that in 2 weeks from tomorrow, we are going to have a new president, not only who has told his followers one thing on the campaign trail and is likely to do something else now, but also who has a very careless regard for the truth, does not even want intelligence agencies or scientists or the media or anybody who disagrees with him to have any kind of a say at all, doesn't want to take any criticism, doesn't want to hear facts that are at odds with his prior kind of points of view. This is not necessarily a good thing for the country.
Jeffrey Lord, would this be a major change, or is a reimbursement, if that is in fact, what Donald Trump was signaling months ago, as Jim Acosta was reporting, would that still be fulfilling his campaign pledge if, in fact, that happened?
Yeah, Anderson, having worked on Capitol Hill in both the House and Senate and the Budget Committee and that sort of thing, I always assumed that we were talking about reimbursement. To actually build the wall right away, you have to get the appropriations, build it, but that there was no doubt in my mind that he was going to make an attempt to get money from Mexico to pay for it at some point. I just think that that's the logical fact of the matter, the way the United States government works. So
this is completely absurd. Mexico,
I don't think it's a flip-flop at all.
Mexico is not going to reimburse the United States
for
building this wall.
We'll see.
How are we going to force Mexico to reimburse the United States? This is an absurd conversation. This is an absurd position. This is the problem. We are all trying to normalize something that is not essentially normal. You don't have somebody campaigning on the basis of one set of ideas and coming out and actually, once he is 2 weeks away from becoming president, coming out with a completely different position.
Jeffrey? Mr. Secretary, with all due respect, you didn't think he was going to be elected, and you weren't alone. A lot of people didn't think he was going to be elected president in the first place, and he is. But let me just talk about something that's normalizing here, and just to slide for a minute to the Russian situation. What I saw today on Capitol Hill was, I thought, disgraceful. This is exactly one of the reasons why Donald Trump was elected. President Obama has been in the White House for 8 years. Senator McCain, to be partisan about this, Senator McCain and Senator Graham and others on that committee have been in the Senate for all of those 8 years. And now they're saying something needs to be done about Julian Assange. Where were they? What were they doing? How come this wasn't stopped before? The real story here is that, yes, WikiLeaks exists, but why wasn't it stopped? Why didn't they do something? That's the real story.
But, Jeffrey, didn't an awful lot of folks on Capitol Hill go after Julian Assange, talk about he should be prosecuted, that he, I think Secretary Clinton said he had blood on his hand. There was a lot of outrage for many years.
Yeah, but outrage doesn't stop cyber warfare. They had to do something. They had to act. And they had 8 years. There were all kinds, I've been looking through today, all kinds of assaults on the U.S. government, the White House, the State Department, the IRS, NOAA, for heaven's sakes, the National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration, the Post Office. Sean Hannity was talking about this on his radio show today. This is disgraceful. This is a bipartisan shame. And these people today ran a hearing that was a classic of why people are so upset about Washington, D.C. It was
Can I just? I really need to be able to help zero in on what's going on in this conversation. Donald Trump has said that he disagrees with the intelligence agencies, with the FBI, with the CIA, with the NSA. He has disparaged them publicly. He has also disparaged other sources of facts, such as the media and scientists who talk about global climate change. Donald Trump doesn't want to hear anything he doesn't want to hear. And to disparage the intelligence community when he's going to have to rely on the intelligence community, it seems to me, is the height of arrogance, and it's very dangerous. Where is Donald Trump getting his facts from if he's not getting them from the intelligence committee? Does he have a separate route of facts, a separate kind of source of facts?
If I may ask you then, when Secretary Clinton and her campaign blamed the FBI director for her loss, you are upset and offended by that?
I don't think that any candidate or any politician should be blaming the FBI, the CIA, or denigrating public officials. I would say that is wrong, and it is wrong of Donald Trump, who's going to be president in 2 weeks. Wait a minute. Donald Trump is going to be president in 2 weeks. He is going to need government scientists. He's going to need intelligence.
As he said today.
He's going to need the Fed. I mean, all of these independent sources of fact-finding and independent sources in power. I mean, Donald Trump says he disagrees with them and he disparages them. I mean, how can you run a government if you're going to be disparaging all your sources of information?
Jeffrey, do you think Donald Trump has disparaged them? I mean, he did tweet out saying intelligence in quotes.
Right, that he's a fan. I think he's a fan of the community. But let's face it, the politicization.
What makes you think? I mean, he said right, but he says he's a fan of the community, but has he actually has he acted like a fan of the community? Because it seems like, we heard from Clapper today, who used the word disparagement.
Yeah, I mean, I totally disagree with that. I mean, I don't think he's disparaging the men and women who put their lives on the line to do this. I mean, that is just not Donald Trump at all. But I do think he's right to question the leadership. And to be perfectly candid, Anderson,
wait a minute. Who is he disparaging?
This is going to go on with bureaucracies all over Washington, because they are going to have a very bureaucratic way of doing business that he will disagree with, and they're going to attack him. They're going to attack him anonymously in the press. They're going to attack him through their allies on Capitol Hill. This is how this is going to unfold.
Who's going to attack whom? The CIA and NSA and the FBI are going to attack Donald Trump? Is that what you're alleging?
Well, why are all these stories anonymously being leaked by various intelligence officials, quote unquote? I mean, who's doing that? Mr. Secretary?
What kind of wait a minute, I want to understand something. Because you're saying that there is a conspiracy of some sort, that you have all the intelligence agencies conspiring, and they're going to try to bring Donald Trump down. Is this the assumption here?
No, but certainly in Washington. But I mean, you both know it's certainly in Washington D.C. If there is dissatisfaction in a lot of in government agencies, people do leak information. I mean, it's not necessarily a vast conspiracy.
But why is it appropriate for somebody who is president-elect to undercut, to disparage, to demean the intelligence agencies, just as he does the media, just as he does independent scientists and government scientists at the Department of Energy and elsewhere? Why is it appropriate to do that simply because you disagree with their conclusions?
We actually, it's a great discussion. We got to leave it there. We're simply out of time. Secretary Reich, always great to have you. Jeffrey Lord.